Good morning.
Weili in the front, right here.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Obviously another title fight for you. Just how's camp? I saw you training with Brad Riddell and everyone. So just how's camp been preparing for Tatiana?
他就问这次的这个训练营怎么样，就是准备。
My camp is so good. Yeah, I'm ready.
We saw Brad Riddell was doing UFC Embedded. He said it was the first time he had been working with you. So I guess what was that experience like working with a guy like him? I think in Thailand, correct?
和李德尔就是一起工作，感觉怎么样？
Yeah. Me with Lidor together is first time, but I feel it's so good. You know, it's she have a lot experience. Yeah, for me, I think it's so good.
And the last time we saw you was UFC 300. Were you hoping to fight sooner, or I guess why did you not fight sooner?
他说上次那个300结束以后，为什么你没有更快的去重新比赛？然后，
Wow. You know, a lot of things is I can't control. Yeah, because depends my opponent is healthy or who want with me fight or UFC is plan.
Fans have called Tatiana the uncrowned champion for a long time, and Tatiana was in here earlier, and she said if she didn't hurt her neck, she thought she would already be the UFC champion. So I guess what do you make of Tatiana as an opponent, and have you heard fans call her the uncrowned champion?
他说很多人都管塔天娜说叫她无冕之王嘛。那你觉得就是你听到别人这么叫她，或者她自己觉得自己早就应该是冠军了，你是怎么你对这种说法是怎么看的？
Okay, let me see Sunday.
And have you had to do anything different in camp this time? Because your last few opponents have been predominantly strikers, and Tatiana might be the best female wrestler in all of the UFC, not just strawweight.
他说你这次训练营做了什么其他的改变吗？因为你之前的这些对手都是主要是站立的，然后塔天娜可能是这个最好的一个摔跤手。
Yeah, this camp I have a wrestling coach, BJJ coach. I think me with this time with Tatiana fight is can grow my BJJ and wrestling. Yeah.
Tatiana said that she felt your fight was the real main event of UFC 312. I'm curious if you feel the same.
他说他觉得你们这场才是真正的头条，你自己是什么感觉？
I think every fight is very great, you know. Yeah. I think me and Tatiana fight is great, but I think 那个南非哥叫什么来着？还有 Depress fight is great, yeah.
Good English, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to try. Thank you. Are you understand? Oh, nice.
Jean, do you consider Tatiana the toughest opponent you've faced in the UFC yet?
你觉得塔天娜是你在 UFC 面对的最难的一个对手吗？
I think every opponent is so difficult. But I need to make a different game plan. Yeah. So, but Tatiana wrestling grappling is so good. Yes. But it's for me it's so good because my opponent is very strong or very high level. Is for me is good because me I can grow, right?
So is your plan to engage in grappling, or will you try and avoid it?
那你的这个比赛计划，这次和塔天的比赛计划，你是准备跟他一起打摔跤吗？还是你准备去打别的？
MMA, not just wrestling or not just striking. I'm ready everything. Yeah. Thank you.
Zhang, your English is getting quite good. Has it been a personal goal of yours to try do media and just actively use English more in your life?
他说你英语越来越好，你是准备用英语是你的一个个人的目标吗？
I think life is learning. Yeah. I need learning. Do my best. Yeah.
And how long do you think before you don't need a translator?
你觉得你还要多长时间就不需要任何翻译？
Maybe next year.
And you've had Brad Riddell.
I fire you.
Sorry. You've had Brad Riddell in your camp. He's also a Kiwi, just like me. How did you find his accent? Was it quite hard to understand?
你觉得那个 Brad 他的英语有很强的这个新西兰口音吗？你觉得
Yeah.
难懂吗？你觉得？
I understand everything. Yeah.
谢谢。
谢谢。你好。
Lots of male UFC champions are usually speaking about going to another division for a second belt. If we're talking about you, are you interested to going up to the flyweight to face Valentina Shevchenko for the second belt?
他说，有很多的这个选手都想升一个级别去打第二条腰带，你也想升一个级别去打子弹姐，然后争夺第二条腰带吗？
Yeah. Yeah, I want, but defense UFC plan.
谢谢。
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted a prediction from you on the main event between Duplessis and Strickland. Who do you think is going to win?
就是他想让你去预测一下这个 Duplessis 和 Strickland 的这个头条赛的结果。
So difficult. You know, depends mental, healthy. Yeah, I think so difficult. 50-50.
Weili back here.
Where? Hello.
Hello. You're fighting someone who is undefeated. That can obviously be difficult. There's not a lot of tape to study of someone losing when they haven't lost. How do you approach fighting someone who is undefeated?
他说那个Tatiana之前没有输过嘛，然后你可能对你来讲去学习一个，就是看他之前的录像，他都没有就是输过，所以你觉得你怎么去面对一个就是没有输过的对手？
I just want be water, smooth. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
I should use a microphone.
Well, Tatiana, fine right here. I feel like since you won the Ultimate Fighters, we've been waiting for this fight week where you fight for the strawweight title. So I guess now that we're only a few days away, I guess what are the emotions now that, like I said, the last 8 years we've been asking you how far away are you from the title, and now it's finally here.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm just excited to be here. Sorry, I rushed over here because I was late. I'm so sorry. Anybody who knows me knows I'm just in my own world. But anyways, so yeah, no, I feel great. I'm just excited to compete again. You know, I love competing. I love fighting. I mean, I love everything about it. As much as I'm not a big fan of media, I even love doing the media just because I know that it's part of it, and I'm excited to just be here and have the experience, because these are the experiences I'll probably talk about to my great-grandchildren if I live that long.
Have you heard, fans label you, the uncrowned champion for so long, even when you were on the shelf recovering? Did you hear those talks, and did it ever, not bother you, but just be like, I'm getting there, just you don't have to crown me just yet?
Yeah, it is. It's for me, I'm always about proving things, So I know people say that and they see my ability and they see how great I am and stuff like that, and it's very flattering. But yeah, no, I was just, it kind of is one of those things where now I just want to go do it. You know what I mean? So, and that time is now. So I thought it would be years ago, but my time is now. So just excited to be here, and what better place to do it in this beautiful country.
Well, I was going to ask, if you hadn't, gotten hurt with the neck and everything, do you think you already would have won the title by now?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so, I think at the time, maybe Joanna even had it, so I would have had the opportunity to face her as well, and, then even maybe Rose, because she was in the mix then too. Now she switched weight classes up, so yeah, no, I had but you know what, now I can go ahead and still face someone who actually beat Joanna twice, so it's not, you know what I mean, I could still kind of prove that, you know what I mean, here, and even a few years later, so.
Well, kind of going off of that again, when you broke in, Joanna was the champ, like you said, and then Jessica Andrade won, Rose won, and Weili's got it back. Do you think Weili would have, just breaking down all those past champions, that she's the hardest test for you as the champion, as opposed to all those other champions that you saw carry the belt at strawweight?
I mean, right now she's the best in the division. I know she lost to Rose twice, so I know for a while I was like, I want to fight Rose, and she was probably like, Tatiana, stop saying my name, you know? And then she like switched weight classes, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. So it's like now I'm just focused on Weili, you know, or Zhang. I'm sorry. I think, like, what's her first name?
Everyone calls her Weili, but I think it's Zhang Weili.
Oh, okay, so her first name is Zhang.
I think they
Zhang.
flip it.
Okay, yeah. Well, because I'm like, on Sherdog it says, no shit. So, so Jean, I don't even know what I was going to say. I'm sorry. I lost track because of the name thing.
And I know you said, I think I saw an interview where you said you don't really view this as a striker versus grappler fight.
No.
Like this is just an MMA fight. So
Absolutely.
What do you make of Weili's last few fights and just her skill set all around?
Yeah, I think she's a great champion. I mean, I've said this multiple times, like all throughout the week. You know, she's a great champion. She's everything that a champion should be. You know, humble, confident, go-getter. You know, she doesn't use, you know, so for me, like, and I'm all about like hard work. Like, I don't use other things to promote myself. You know what I mean? I've always been super, super respectful of myself, and you know, I don't have like an OnlyFans or nothing like that. You know, like I'm using my hard work, and like the reason why is because I want to be looked at as super like respected. You know, I want them to be like, she was an amazing champion. All she did was work hard, and things came for her. You know, she didn't use other things to promote herself. So for me, that's really respectable of Weili. That's why I respect her as a champion. When I've seen her, you know, when she was going to fight Jan, you know, I'm like, hey, what's up, champ? You know, but I'm the real champion, and I'm going to prove it Sunday.
Just last one for me, going off of that again. I think you used the phrase, like, we don't break, we break people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Weili has that in her? Like, do you think you can break her? Or, you know, you've seen her fight. She's had fight of the year. She's bounced back, too. So do you think you can break her in there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I could do that to anybody in the world. I think that, like, you know, I'm super relentless. I keep going. I have a really good gas tank, but, you know, the thing that separates me from, I think, a lot of people is just, like I said, my relentlessness. And, I mean, my wrestling is just second to none. You know, I think that, like, I have a series of attacks that I'm very good at. And once I start flowing, it's very, very hard to stop me. And even in just grappling in general, like, they think that they're safe, and then all of a sudden they're in a choke, you know? So that's definitely my best attribute is I've been grappling since I was 3 years old. You know, I've seen that, you know, she had said that she had a lot of experience, but I also have experience in combat sports since I was a really young girl, and I carry those over to now, today. Yeah.
Just over here, Tatiana. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry. Who do you consider to have been your biggest challenge so far? What was your most challenging UFC fight you've had up until now?
I don't know. I feel like they all have had their challenges. You know, I know that a lot of people are like, well, you make it look really easy, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think, like, for me, I guess I would say probably, like, if you look at on paper, my biggest probably challenge was Nina, you know, because I had a 3-round fight with her. It's one of my only decisions that I have. Like, I only have a few of those. So, yeah, I think that would probably be my biggest challenge. And it was really hard because, you know, I was going through it with you know, a neck injury and stuff. But it kind of sucked because, like, I had been healthy all year, you know, and then the fight was booked, kept going, and it was postponed. And so I was healthy for an entire year, and then I got hurt like 2 weeks before my fight, and I'm like, what the, you know, that's just like super like unfortunate. But, you know, I got through the fight, I still won, and yeah, so I would say that one probably, just because I was facing other things, and she was a tough opponent too.
Right. And in your preparation for this fight and watching footage of her and training for her, does Zhang Weili feel like the biggest challenge you will have faced so far?
Yeah, just because of her credentials, you know, like, she has great credentials. She's a hard worker. And, yeah, I mean, I just look forward to going out and competing and facing the biggest challenge that I've had to date. And I think that about every single fight, You know, I think like they're the best fighter that I've ever fought. You know, when I was about to fight Alexa Grasso, you know, there was just like clips of her like freaking like slamming people, like KOing them and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll see about that. Mm-hmm.
Tatiana, just wanted to bring up an interesting fact here. You and Weili are tied for the third most takedowns landed in UFC women's strawweight division history. Now, obviously, Mike Bond's not here, so I have to bring up the stats. What do you?
You're what?
Mike Bond, he's the stat guy, but he's not here. So he sits in the front, so I've taken his mantle. What do you actually think of her grappling? How would you rate it?
I think that she has good grappling, you know. Like I said, that's why when he had asked about the striker versus like grappler, I don't see it as that. I think she grapples every single one of her fights. She's grappled except no. I mean, I think she's literally grappled every single one of her fights. So I don't see her as just a striker. You know what I mean? And then that's why, you know, I think that it makes for a great matchup. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't know. Sometimes I think like grapplers against strikers kind of seems like you're just like, oh man, this is like kind of lame, because either it's like there's just like the grappler is just like holding them down and that's all they're doing, you know, or you know what I mean. So sometimes it can be like not too fun of a matchup, but when you have people that are just really going at it and all the whole aspect, then it becomes like a super fun fight, and that's why I think that it's going to be a really great fight.
When you see her break down her last fight and talking about that she went away from a game plan a little bit and she sort of had a little bit of a lapse towards the end of the fight, she was able to listen to her coaches. Do you see an opportunity in the mental side of things? Because you've always been someone that's followed a game plan, stuck to it, really focused on what you're going to do, but she's notoriously had some issues in the past, sort of sticking to her own game plans and some issues with sort of staying focused in certain parts of her fights.
I mean, I don't really put too much into that stuff, you know. I just kind of go in there, I do my thing. I don't even think of my whatever I'm doing out there as a game plan. I think I literally just go out there and like, because I train the way I train, that my instincts just take over. Like I was watching my fight with Andrade and I remember like going for the guillotine and I literally felt like maybe somebody else was doing it. Like that's how like I guess you would say like natural it is, because I grapple so much, I do so many rounds that at that point it just becomes like innate, you know, and very natural. So yeah, I don't know, I don't think about like her game plan or my game plan. I just go out there and I go, I'm gonna go win. Yeah.
Hey Tatiana, just over here to your right. I'm right in the back. Apologies. Over here.
Oh.
How you going?
I saw you had a question earlier, but...
That's all right. No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sydney.
Thank you.
First question that I had is, you know, we've talked a bit about grappling. In a recent interview, you mentioned that you see this fight ending in your favor through a submission. Mm-hmm. Without giving away your secrets, do you have a specific submission in mind? Or if you don't want to answer that one, what might be your favorite submission to use in a fight?
Yeah, I just have an array of submissions. That's why I think that... I can get a submission, because I am very good at submissions and I have a lot of them, you know, different variations of it. As you saw, like even in my Ultimate Fighter, I mean, I did a Darce and, you know, it was kind of a combination of like a Japanese necktie as well. So like I have so many things. Like there's a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, you see women's MMA, you see a lot of like rear naked chokes, you see a lot of arm bars, you see a lot of these submissions, but like I'm a specialist when it comes to choking people out. I mean, I even have like earrings that are guillotines because that's how much I love them, you know? So, but yeah, no, I really, really like, I mean, the reason why I am so good in the front headlock and the reason why my squeeze is so good is because I've been doing it for so long. Even when I was wrestling, you know, I did front headlocks. I did like a lot of pins. Like when I was a young girl, I was like 8 years old, and you know, I did like a gator roll, which now you could turn into an anaconda. But I did it then, and the young boy tapped out, and they're like, does she win? Does she lose? I'm not really sure because it's illegal in wrestling, you know? And they're like, I guess she wins. So, yeah.
And recently as well, you spoke about you needed to learn patience, and that's something that maybe you haven't always been good with, especially coming back from your injuries. Has that changed how you've approached your fight camp and just fighting in the UFC in general?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I don't know if it's like changed like my training or anything. I know that I'm just very like because of my injuries and stuff like that. I've had to like be very, I guess, picky about the people that I go with and make sure that I trust them. And there's no egos in there so that I can actually make it to my fights. But yeah, patience for me, I think that, the universe always gives you what you need. And I think that that's something that I've had to get better at. And so for me, I guess that's something that they gave me. The universe says, you really, really need this.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to get a prediction for the main event. Who do you think wins that?
Yeah, of course, I'm going to have to go with my teammate, Sean Strickland. I think that he won the first fight, so I'm rooting for him. And, I actually have known Sean for like 12 years because we started off at Millennia MMA together. So, me and my fiance watched Sean win his world title from our couch, and we were both super inspired, and now we're going to be watching him in the same arena. And I'm going to also win my world title the same day.
Tatiana, this is the farthest you've had to travel for a fight so far in your career. Has accounting for the jet lag and stuff been something you've had to work into your training, and do you think it's going to impact how things go this week?
No. I've been here since the 27th, so I accounted for that just in case, like I said, like I don't have like as many fights as my opponent, but I have the experience in being a high-level athlete for a very long time. I was going to world competitions starting at 15, all over the world. So I've trained all over. I've even trained in China for almost an entire month, for world competitions and camps and stuff like that. So I knew that, I'm a professional, so I made it a point to come here very early and make sure that everything went according to plan, and that I wouldn't face anything like jet lag or time having tough time adjusting to the time or nothing like that. I also, have hired people that know those types of things and the hacks and everything like that. Very smart people.
Because you've been here for so long now, does that give you a bit of time to do some touristy stuff and enjoy Australia as a tourist?
You would think, but we've really just been training, I thought that I would, be able to go ahead and see some things, but we haven't yet. But we have seen a lot of shops, so that's good. I mean, lots of shopping. I love shopping, so that's okay, But yeah, so, and then, they have really good coffee here, so I've had probably a different coffee from, I don't know how long I've been here, 10, 12 days. So maybe like 10 different places, which I love because I love coffee.
Thank you.